Welcome to Saturday's Warrior. I'm Trevor, and this is the channel where we talk all things BYU, Big 12, and we even do conference realignment. And speaking of which, we are right now in the middle of putting out a series of videos of breaking down potential new homes for ACC schools if and when the conference does implode. So if you haven't seen any of those yet, please go check those out. I'll put a link in, it'll show up somewhere up here. Go check out those videos as well. We also ask if you like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us a lot. But today, we are not talking about conference realignment. We are talking about the BYU UCF matchup. This is the beginning of round 2 in the Big 12 tournament. BYU is the 5 seed, UCF as the 12. They had a convincing win yesterday over Oklahoma State. But they showed up today, and BYU proved to be too much. They were able to get by UCF. And honestly, going into this game, or actually going into yesterday's game, I was actually rooting for Oklahoma State. I felt like it was a better matchup for BYU. Even though BYU won both games against UCF and lost one to the Cowboys during the regular season, UCF played both of those games tough. The one they had a huge comeback against BYU and really put a lot of pressure on late in that game. And they've also been playing well as of late. So it was not a team I wanted to face. I think the results of the game against Oklahoma State yesterday just supported that. So I was a little nervous. But boy, BYU came out hot. And the stat is that I think I can't remember, really high percentage of wins when BYU hits at least 10 threes. And so I'm sitting there just kind of counting threes, and right off the bat, there were two quick ones, and I thought, all right, we're 20% of the way there. Obviously, there's more to it than just that, but it is a good indicator of how well BYU is playing. Although we know that BYU can be inconsistent from one half to the next, so I was really hoping it wasn't just a one half thing. And even after getting the lead up to about as many as I think 18 points, UCF, you got to give them credit. They did not quit, and they kept clawing back, and they ended the half in I think just a single digit deficit. Let me double check that real quick. My page is reloading. So, I was really disappointed that BYU, it felt like a lot of it is due to, I don't want to take credit away from UCF because they were playing hard, but it felt like BYU maybe let up a little bit, with such a huge lead. It really felt, and we're getting comfortable. But how many times have we seen in BYU games, but even throughout the Big 12, big leads like that just disappear throughout the game? So we know that that can change fast in this game and in this league, especially if a team can go streaky, like BYU, and all of a sudden hit a cold streak and you start allowing teams back in a game. So I wasn't too comfortable yet. And then with getting it down to single digits right there at the end of the half, I was a little nervous. Now, because it is the middle of the day, I did miss much of the beginning of the second half. Came in about the 13-minute mark, and I saw that, and that was when the lead was down to just a few points. I can't remember, 3 or 4 points. And I was really nervous at that point, although shortly after BYU started hitting some shots and slowly kind of adding to that lead and pulling away, and UCF was never able to get it back down again. So overall, I was pretty happy with this. I mean, the end result, they had 14 threes, shooting 14 out of 30, so that's 46.7%, 47% shooting overall. And the free throw shooting, I'd still like to see it up a little bit, but it was good, 79%. So that's all great. And the number of turnovers, they were at 9 until at the very end of the game when nobody wanted to get the turnover, when they were just running out the clock. So if we don't count that, even with that 10th turnover, they're still below. I went and looked up their season average, and it's 10.7. So they still came in below, so they were taking care of the ball. And Dallin Hall was really on today. It shows how important of a player he is for the team. In games, I feel like, where he starts getting flustered and he starts either rushing shots or turning the ball over, that's not a good sign for the team usually. But In fact, it was when he went out because of 2 fouls that UCF was able to start mounting that initial run in the first half. So, he really is an important player, and he was on his game today. And so, really hope that that can continue throughout this tournament, but also more importantly, the NCAA tournament, because that is really where ultimately it matters. But and then I also got to give a shout out to Ali Khalifa, who, as is well documented at this point, is fasting for Ramadan, which means during the daylight hours he's not eating or drinking, and he was out there playing and playing hard and playing well and dropping dimes. And you gotta love that. In fact, he hit that opening 3 to start off the game, so you gotta love that from him. But all the more reason for BYU, when you're up big, to keep mounting onto that lead, so our big man can rest and we can not overwork him, especially as we go deeper into the tournament. I'm not gonna get too much into all this game. This is just a quick recap. I am overall pleased with the way BYU played in this game. I think it bodes well. Let's see if they're able to turn around quickly and go up against a very good and physical Texas Tech team, and see if we can carry some of that momentum over. Having said that, a lot of people are saying that this game solidifies BYU as a 5 seed regardless of what happens. Now, granted, if BYU loses to Texas Tech, it should still be a very good loss and shouldn't affect our ranking or position with a seeding, in the tournament. I wouldn't think too much, but if Texas Tech just goes out and boat races BYU, you never know. So you want to really hold on to that 4 or 5 seed and open up at least the first or potentially second games in Salt Lake, hopefully giving BYU an advantage there. Anyway, so so far so good in this tournament. We won at least one game, which is what we felt like we really had to do. And I think this is just one more feather in BYU's cap, and what has been an astonishing and, quite frankly, surprising first season in the Big 12. So let me know what you think about this game. Do you think it looks like BYU's in good position to make a deep run in the Big 12 tournament, or do you think that they're going to have a tough time getting past Texas Tech or some of these other teams that may be in front of them? And how far do you think that they'll go in the big dance once we get into March, or March Madness? Sorry. Anyway, let me know those things in the comments. Please like the video and subscribe. It really helps us a lot, and we're growing a lot right now, and appreciate all the support you guys give. And as always, go Cougs!